Hello everyone, welcome to online classes on building structures 6. In today's session we are going to learn about dual systems. We all know that nowadays the modern buildings are often of irregular shape. Irregular shape in the sense they are either a very large scale outcuts, facets or crowns, a very cantilever structures or a very huge slender structures we are constructing, especially in a high rise structures. So for such a buildings with a non-prismatic shapes, it is difficult to achieve a structural design requirement or to difficult to fulfill the structural design requirement by adopting any one single structural system like shear wall, braced frame or a movement frame. Any a single structural system, structural load resisting system is not sufficient enough to fulfill the requirements of a structural design. So for such a non-prismatic structural forms, what we do is we combine two or more basic structural forms to get a proper combined structural system, which is called as a hybrid structural system. Hybrid structure in the sense two or more general or a basic structural forms are combined together to get a more efficient structural form, and that is called as a hybrid structural system. If I combine only two structural system, combination of a two basic structural forms, either by a direct combination or by adopting a different forms in a different parts of a structure, then I can call it as a dual system. In other words, I can also define dual system as a combination of a shear walls with a movement frames or a combination of a braced frames with a movement frames as a lateral load resisting system. So we have all studied about three main lateral load resisting system. Those are movement frames, braced frames and shear walls. So today we are going to learn about a combination of a movement frame with a shear wall or a braced frame with a movement frame. So by doing so, what we can achieve is the coupled system result in increased stiffness of all the structure, and the wall and frames are considered to displace laterally together by a rigid floor diaphragm connecting them. Suppose this is a wall, shear wall, and these are the movement frames. So to act these two systems together as a one single unit, we need a diaphragms. Diaphragms are nothing but slabs, floor slabs, which connect the shear wall along with the movement frame so that they both act together as a single unit. So let us start with the very first type of a dual system, that is a braced movement frame system. Braced movement frame in the sense we are combining two general lateral load resisting system, that is braced system and a movement frame system. So by combining these two, I can reduce the drift at both base as well as top of a structure. And why we need to reduce the drift is because to prevent occupant discomfort. Whenever there is a very huge or a high rise structure, the drift which are occurring at the base of the structure or near the base floors are comparatively lesser, but whereas when I go on near the topmost floor or topmost story, the story drifts are very huge, so that it may create a discomfort to the occupants by it may a psychological discomfort or it may be a physical discomfort. So to prevent such a drift from occurring, I can combine these two effects, and also by preventing this drift, I can also reduce the risk of failure of claddings as well as curtain walls, especially if claddings are of glass facades. Then third one is it also reduces secondary stresses which are caused by a P delta effect. Suppose this is a moment frame system. Whenever there is a lateral load or the horizontal load which is acting on a system, this moment frame system bends or deflect as a concave shape with on a windward side and a convex on the leeward side, whereas the braced frame may deflect in the other direction, a concave on the leeward side and a convex on the windward side. But whatever is the type of a system, the drift or the deflections at top and the bottom, base and the top of the story are very huge. But when I combine these two frames, the resultant building or the resultant structural form what I get will have a comparatively very less drift as compared to individual structural forms, and hence these are more preferred for high rise structures. Second one is a shear wall and a moment frame system. So in this system, it consists of a shear wall and a moment frame that interact horizontally in the same direction to provide a stronger and a stiffer system. These systems are preferably adaptable for reinforced concrete structures, because shear walls we prefer it for reinforced concrete structures. So usually shear walls are a solid one, not perforated with the openings, means no windows or no doors or any such kind of openings are not provided in a shear walls. Shear walls are always a solid type running from the bottommost or from the foundation till the roof of the structure. They can be found around the stairwell, elevator shaft or at the perimeter of the building. A shear walls may have a positive effect on the performance of the frame by preventing a soft story collapse. By providing a shear walls, we can reduce a chance of a soft story collapse of a structure. Shear wall system is suitable for a building with a number of stories ranging from 40 to 60 stories, which is much more greater than a shear wall system or a rigid frame system separately. It may be difficult to distinguish a dual system from the wall system in a reinforced concrete building, because when we look into the building in general, when it is in a finished form, we cannot identify whether it is a shear wall or whether it is just an infill wall or a normal masonry wall. So it is difficult to identify whether it is having a dual system or a single moment frame system, and because of that we need a building design related informations to distinguish it as a dual system structure. Another thing about this system is a frame basically deflects in a so-called shear mode, while the shear wall predominantly responds by a bending as a cantilever. So by combining these two systems, I can achieve both, that is shear mode also as well as a bending as a cantilever also. When a wall and a frame are connected together by a pin end links subjected to horizontal loading, the deflected shape of a composite structure has a flexural profile in the lower part and a shear profile in the upper part. For this you can refer this diagram. Whenever there is a horizontal load, there will be a flexure profile at the lower part and a shear profile at the upper part. The principal advantages accounting for a horizontal interaction in designing a wall frame structure are as follows. One is the estimated drift may be significantly less than if a single system is used. Then the estimated bending moments are comparatively very reduced one. Then shear in the frames may be approximately uniform throughout the height. By making so, that is by making a equal or a uniform shear throughout the height, the floor framing may be designed as and constructed as a repetitive basis. On a repetitive basis, in the sense, same type of a design can be followed for multi floors. So because of this, a cost of construction will get reduced very quite uh, quite a bit. Another type of, you can see this diagram, this is a shear wall part, this is a shear wall, whereas these are the moment frames, these are the moment frames. So I am combining the effect of a shear wall along with the moment frames in this system. Apart from these two basic systems, we may also have certain secondary dual systems, that is core or a core wall with a outrigger structural system, outrigger with a buttress system, outrigger with a buttress cap system, tube system, or a tubular structure with a outrigger system. Like that, there are several other dual system. We'll just highlight the points regarding those secondary dual systems. So first one is core and outrigger structural system. So we already know about the core structure, that is nothing but a combination of a number of shear walls which are enclosing a certain area, like in a staircase or in a elevator shaft, or providing like a enclosed area, that is called as a core system. And now let us know about outrigger system. Outriggers, these are the rigid horizontal structures designed to improve by building overturning stiffness and strength by connecting the core or a spine to a closely spaced outer columns. So these are nothing but a rigid horizontal structures which improves stiffness and strength. These structures are do connect the core system with outer columns. So you can refer this figure. This is a plan or a top view of a building. Here we have outer columns or a peripheral columns. Then I am providing a brace frame system here. Now these are the outriggers. Outriggers are the one, this is a core system or a central system or a spine system. So what I am doing is I am connecting this core or a central system with the outermost columns or a peripheral columns by providing horizontal rigid structures called as outriggers. This is a outrigger. This is an outrigger. So by doing so, what I can achieve is, when a structure is loaded horizontally, a vertical plane rotations of the core are restrained by outrigger through a tension in windward columns and a compression in a leeward columns. Whenever there is a load, say a horizontal load, say a horizontal load is acting from this side and it is passing to the other side. So when this case happens, when a load is acting on this side, these outriggers will carry the load and make sure that the say the load is acting from this side and leaving from this side. So because of these outriggers, what happens is these columns, the exterior columns which are on the windward side will be under tension, and the other columns, the exterior columns which are on the leeward side of the outrigger, will be under compression, and by doing so the outrigger carries the horizontal loads. The effect of outrigger join the columns to the core to make the structure behave as a partially composite cantilever. So what I am doing is, by doing outrigger to connect the columns into the central spine, I am making this central core a very strong and a stiff type, and this will act as a cantilever system irrespective of whether I have a projections like these columns and other things, but this entire structure will act as a single cantilever building. In effect of outrigger, the perimeter columns other than those connected directly to the ends of the outrigger can also be made to participate in the outrigger action by joining all the perimeter columns with a horizontal truss or a girder or on the face of the building. So I am connecting these 1, 2, 3 and 4 columns, outer perimeter columns, to the spine or a core of the structure. But not only these 4, I can also connect all the perimeter columns, all these columns, to the spine or the core of the structure by providing a horizontal truss or a girder around the face of the building, which we call it as a belt truss at the outrigger level. Outrigger level in the sense for which floor I am providing outriggers, that floor I can provide a belt truss system. Whenever we provide outriggers or a belt truss, those are provided for the entire floor height, not, or it may happen that we can provide the outriggers or a belt truss for a 2 or 3 floor height together. Guidelines for location of outrigger. To minimize a deflection, if I am using only one outrigger structure, it should be at approximately half of the height of the structure. If I am using 2 outriggers, then the outriggers must be located at 1/3 and 2/3 height. If I am using 3 outriggers, then outriggers must be located at 1/4, half and 3/4 height. Another system is, you can see here, this is a normal column type of a structure where I am providing a central bracing system which act as a core system. Now for this core system, I am providing the outriggers, which are the horizontal. Here you can see the rectangular shape. This rectangular shape is a outrigger system. So these outrigger systems are nothing but a horizontal girder like or a truss like which connect the core, this is a vertical core, with the outer columns of the structure. Outer columns are on this side as well as on the other side. So these are the outrigger system. Now apart from these outrigger system, what I can also do is, I can also combine all the columns or connect all the perimeter columns by providing a common belt truss, which we call it as a system, a belt truss system. So this belt truss system connects all perimeter columns together and it helps to hold all the columns together so that the deflections are not exceeding. Each additional level of outrigger increases a lateral stiffness by but a smaller amount than the previous additional level. So how many I add the number of outriggers, it increases the lateral stiffness drastically. But if suppose I have added one outrigger system, it may enhance my lateral stiffness by 50%. But if I increase one more time, then apart from that 50%, I can increase it by lesser than 50, a bit lesser than 50%. Then to make the outrigger and a belt girder adequately stiff in flexure and shear, there are 1 or 2 story deep. They are provided in such a way that the height or the depth of the truss or a belt truss or a outrigger is of 1 story height or more than 1 story height. Usually these stories are provided as a plant levels. While the outrigger system is very effective in increasing the structural flexure stiffness, it does not increase the resistance to shear, which has been carried by mainly with the core. So outrigger system helps in increasing flexural resistance, whereas the shear resistance is carried by the core of the structure. Outrigger and a belt truss trusses increases the efficiency of a system in reducing lateral loads, such that these system can be adopted for a story up to a 60-story height. And then last type is outrigger with a belt truss system as a cap truss. So instead of providing a belt truss somewhere in middle like this type, I can also provide a belt truss only at the topmost floor, that is at the roof of the structure, as a truss, cap truss, or a top hat. A building can be stiffened effectively by a single level of outrigger at the top of the structure, in which case it is referred to as a top hat or a cap truss. In this system, the exterior columns, the outermost columns of the structure, are tied to the cap truss through a system of outrigger and a belt trusses. So here this exterior, the last column, I am tying this column to the cap truss or a belt truss which is provided at the top. Hence, these columns participate in resisting the lateral load by a tie down action, hence resulting the restraining the bending of the structure. So if I apply a load like this, then it may happen that the braced, if it was a single braced core structure, it might have bend it in this fashion. But since I am providing a cap truss and I am holding down the exterior columns like this, so because of this, the exterior column is not allowed to bend in this direction, whereas the exterior column on the leeward side, this is a windward column and this is a leeward column when a load is acting from this side. So leeward column does not squeeze much, whereas windward column does not expand much, and this is called as a tied down action. The belt truss connects the exterior column and act as a horizontal fascia stiffener. So it also connects the exterior column and act as a horizontal stiffener. Outrigger arms, in trying to rotate with the core, are restrained by exterior columns, resulting in the windward column subjected to tension and a leeward column to the compression. So because when I apply a load in this side, this direction, this beam or this building tries to bend in this direction, but since I am holding down these columns, so this windward side of the column is subjected to a tensile load or a flexural load or these are allowed to expand, whereas the other side, that is a leeward columns, are under compression. The system no longer acts as a pure cantilever. So because of these held down action or the tension and a compression action, which is again affected by a top truss or a cap truss, this entire building does not act as a perfect cantilever type. There will be a S curve in a deflection of a structure with a point of interflexion as shown in this figure. So instead of bending in this way, a building bends in this way. So these are a few of the dual systems. Apart from this, we may also have a tube structure combined with a bundled tube structure, combined with a outrigger system, bundled tube combined with a belt truss system. So like that we have a different dual system, but the main two types are the braced movement frame system, and a shear wall system. So remember all these types and their arrangement, especially in a structural form. Thank you for the session.